Miller. Hi.
Hey guys, how are you? How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Hi, hello. Who do we have? A lot of people. So nice to welcome you all, new teachers as well.
Hi.
More consolidated partners. So this was the event that I was talking about yesterday with the new teachers, that a unique chance for you to meet the community and to talk to them as well. So we're going to start with, we always start by suggesting a topic, but of course you guys are very welcome to ask questions, to ask each other, and there are amazing people here that can guide you and give you invaluable tips. So, welcome to all of you once again. And I will start today with something that I asked the guys that I met with yesterday. So I asked them, what do you think the pain of the teacher is? Yeah. Now, we're going to talk about quality after all, but in order to get to quality, let me walk you through the process, that these are absolutely necessary questions that we need to answer in order to get the quality. So I said quality, and I'm not going to lose this point. This is the final end, but we're going to start with what the premises that create quality. Yeah, so the conditions without which we can't talk about quality. So we can't talk about quality without talking about what conditions create quality. Yeah, so before that, the teachers globally, worldwide, and you from your particular experience, what pain do you guys have? And I'm going to, while you're talking, I will share my screen and I will write them down, because even though I'm aware, I would like to also take notes of what you say. So can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to lose sight of you for a while. So you guys tell me, just take turns, or go ahead and tell me, what problems do you think teachers have? Some of you, Josie, for instance, she was super specific, even though you don't have to be, you don't be shy. Just take your chance. Give it a
I'd
go.
say low pay for too much work.
Yeah.
Lots of extra lesson planning, way more hours than you're getting paid for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so a lot of lesson planning, which is probably lesson planning is time consuming, right?
Yes.
Okay, what else do we have? What other pains can you think of?
Arranging and cancelling the lessons with the one-on-one, it takes too long. It's difficult for it to be convenient for both at the same time.
Okay.
Yes.
How do we summarize that? So it's difficult to arrange.
Manage schedules.
Sorry?
To manage schedules. I don't know.
Okay. And cancellations, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me add this important nuance here, that lesson planning is time consuming and not paid. So
Yes.
difficult to manage schedules, cancellations. What else?
Restriction to having to do the same time with the same student every week, otherwise you might lose that student.
So okay.
I guess it's like a lack of flexibility.
Oh, yeah. Lack of flexibility. Restrictions. All right. Subject.
Technology and systems.
Student. Hold on, Eric. Hold on there. Flexibility. What did you say? Repeat.
technology and systems.
Technology and systems. Okay, what do you mean? What's the verb for that? Lack of technology, maybe?
Yeah, just general problems. Yeah, the connections and
Connection problems.
yeah, connection problems.
Connection
Technical
problems.
issues.
Yeah, the typical, yeah.
Okay.
I've got one, but I'm not sure how I would summarize it in a one-liner. So basically, like on one of the platforms that I've been on, there's like a teacher intermediary. So that person will contact the teacher and say, I've got a student who needs a trial class and they're on level B1 or they're on A2. And then I don't even know how they actually measure the student's level. Then you plan for that level and you start the class and then you realize that kid is not on that level. Either the kid is higher or lower, and then you've just spent like an hour or two planning a lesson, and then like in the middle you have to improvise and either shorten or simplify the lesson, or they zip through the lesson really fast, and then
Right.
it seems like some platforms don't actually evaluate their students properly before handing them over to the teachers. So you kind of have to do the evaluation yourself anyway.
Okay, so lack of previous information about the student with all the
Yeah.
problems that you know that subsequently you have to face, poor preparation, etc., etc. In general, maybe we have to say no support.
Each
Yeah.
student could have a profile or a history.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
And then there's also a language barrier between the teacher and the teacher intermediary. So they're trying to communicate to you about the student and what the needs are, but sometimes they don't even like communicate. They can't communicate clearly enough in English to tell you what the student's needs are. So
okay, so we
I
need,
suppose it just relates in with that.
I guess it falls into the no support to teachers category.
Yeah.
Basically, lack of information and so on. Okay. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I've got one. It's the competition for independent teachers against the large academies. Yeah, because they have that huge network, that the advertising budget, and independent teachers, we have to like use all the free ads, things like that.
Yeah.
That's very good, James. Yeah, actually, you're absolutely fair. How to compete against the big ones, right? This is the question. Right.
Same in business.
That's it. Okay. All right. Anything else?
I don't know if this makes sense, but I remember I had a boss who was obsessed with finishing the book. And that's the only thing she had in her head. Finish the grammar exercise of the book. So this is something that I don't know if Josie said before, you're kind of like stuck there and what content, and maybe the kids weren't talking. So maybe the book is not so important. So there's not so much flexibility in what you can actually do in the classroom. But you're like in terms of what content you can work with. There's a very, very strict curriculum, maybe it's not the most important. I just spoke to a woman. She said, my kids have been working on the same grammar structure for 2 months.
Oh, shame.
And I see that they don't progress.
Okay, and probably objective is way too abstract. I don't know, pointless, whatever. Let's leave it in inflexible curriculum, right? Okay. All right. So how about money issues, like related to collecting money? Has anyone faced? Yes?
Yeah. So I'm with PayPal for one of the other platforms I'm on, but you can only withdraw the funds from PayPal. This is not in South Africa, so you can only withdraw the funds from PayPal if you bank with FNB. Now I don't bank with FNB. I'm with Nedbank, so then I was required to go this whole mission and create a profile on FNB, get all my FICA documents together, submit it to the bank, wait for them to activate and verify your identity. And then you still have to link so it's in those beginning stages, there's always, so when it comes to payment, there's always a bit of teething pains, I think, with getting yourself set up in order to receive funds. And then I did read somewhere, although I'm not sure, where people have lost their payments. So these companies like PayPal and all those kind of companies, they've lost people's payments. So, but I don't know how true that is. I haven't experienced it, but
I think fine. This is something that we can actually advise you to Wise. TransferWise. It was used. It used to be called TransferWise. Now it's called Wise. It's much more reliable, cheaper. Well, excellent service. But I was thinking more about getting the money from the student. I mean, collecting from students.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think Josie yesterday said that collection is a problem sometimes because they just don't pay on time or whatever. Yeah, the student, I mean.
So I think if you're on your own, you have to chase up those students yourself for payments, and that can be a nightmare.
It is sometimes.
Yeah.
It is unpleasant. Well, it's embarrassing sometimes to ask for that. Fair enough. Now, we have quite a few problems. How about the solutions for them? So what solutions? Let me create here a parallel grid, but this time it will be with the solutions. So what do you guys think the solutions to those could be? Low pay for too much work. How do you go about it?
Yeah, I think that's the collaboration part where we share the past lessons and also the activities and everything.
The collaboration. I'll put it down.
It's like collaboration with the materials more than anything, I reckon.
I'm thinking of collaboration with the material, so it shouldn't be there. Then I'll leave
that solves the too much work, I think.
I'll put the collaboration here, but how do we go about payment?
I guess like looking at the market, because obviously the market is like insanely competitive and people are just charging way too little for their skills.
Way too little now. It will be even worse.
Yeah. So I think like making sure that we're really promoting the fact that we give good quality teaching and what they're paying for is this like good quality of service, and also the flexibility of having different teachers, so someone will always be available for them at the times that they want.
Well, definitely some key elements in what you said, but thinking outside of the box is the solution, because if I were to put here just quality, believe me, it's not a fix. So this is not a fix. It won't be. Quality is super important and we'll get to it, but quality is not the fix for low pay for too much work. Mari Carmen, any idea?
I think in a very short way, but in a very deep way, it's business model.
Okay, business model, right? But I agree, and it's business model, but develop it a little, elaborate a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so if we do know and agree and understand that we can work X amount of hours a week, and that's what helps getting low paid. And if we bring clients through all the different tools that we know we have, then we are going to increase the amount of students that we're going to share with the community, and that will increase our rate per hour. Therefore, it will turn into infinite payments, depending on directly proportionate to the leads and clients we bring.
Change of model. Okay, I love it. You summarize it really well. But how many of you actually, guys, have understood what Mari Carmen just said? Was it clear what she just explained? It was for Kaylee because she's been maybe a little bit longer. Was it clear enough for Cindy?
Well, yeah, I think I understood what she meant.
Okay.
It's basically now that we know the model and the Oxinity model, I think, yeah, in this case, we're going to work in a way that we're able to get paid enough because of the business model that Oxinity uses, you know. Because
Guys.
you're paid because
Okay.
you're paid not only for the student that you're teaching, but also for a student that you bring into the platform. So yeah, I think I understood what you meant.
You have great, amazing. I was going to tell you not to think so much about Oxinity, but actually, since I told you, okay, think outside of the box, and we are within Oxinity, it's hard not to think about Oxinity. So I understand. We're there. Fine.
Yeah, that's what she mentioned. So.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So Mari Carmen also said one thing super important, and it's sharing. Yeah, here sharing and collaborating, even though it is for material as well and content, it's absolutely relevant there. So let me Georgina and Nuria, over to you guys, and I'll move to the next slide to explain my point. But first, you.
No, I was going to say something maybe a bit silly, but I was thinking when you make a budget of any other project, it's what we say, desglosado. So if you would really stop and think of how much that teaching hour costs in terms of efforts, then you would realize how much that should really be paid. Maybe we realize that, but maybe other possible students and clients don't realize that. But if you start thinking about the material, the time invested for this part, the time invested for that part, to make it a bit more transparent. And I've been thinking about this lately, you know, how much effort does that hour involve for us as well?
A lot.
Maybe the solution is collaboration, probably. So imagine if everybody did their part, pay the guy who does the activities, pay the guy who takes you to the class, pay the guy who's delivering the class, pay the guy who's preparing the exams. That is in a way to think about, or let's just see how much it really costs.
Absolutely.
How much it really costs. Really.
Yeah, which is absolutely, it's a kind of shadow. All this is shadowed by the price, and only the price, 5 euros per hour, 10 euros per hour, and that's that, you know. So quality, unfortunately, no matter how much quality you put, and again, if we don't work collaboratively, what quality can we expect from one single person? You know, limited. No matter how much expertise and how much desire and, you know, and will and whatever we put in what we do alone, forget about it. So okay, Nuria and Mari Carmen, what do you guys think?
Hi, that's Nuria speaking. I was concerned about, well, first, I'm not a teacher. I'm the technical person here. And when I saw low pay for too much work, I wondered, this is, let's say, something that you think about. I mean, you consider it's too much work, low pay is a consideration, right? Yeah. So that probably means that you are doing a lot of repetitive work that doesn't give you enough money back. In the sense, for example, I know that you guys have to send an email to the people who reply to you, and said, I want a class, and you have to send them a link to test and everything. Maybe there's a way to make these things automatic, so you don't have to be waiting for and making, because this is time-consuming things that can be automated. So maybe we should like find out which things of what you do every day can be automated and which ones are absolutely necessary for you to do. For example, if you guys are advertising in Instagram, you need to create like a reel, like posts and stuff like that. This cannot be automated. There has to be someone thinking what I'm going to be posting, what I'm going to be doing. But afterwards, the fact to be sending it at 12 p.m. Spanish time, this can be automated. This is not something you should be paying attention to. So maybe if we can analyze really why you are saying this, and we can think in terms of automating things, maybe you guys will gain paid. I mean, without doing anything, you will be paid more. I don't know if you understand what I'm
Absolutely.
saying.
Basically, in one sentence, again, applying technological solutions for these guys. Yeah. Now that you are talking about that, Nuria, I really appreciate that. We're going to resume. I see it clearly. We're more ready because we had stopped the evolution part, and from next week we're going to resume it. Your
Okay.
presence in these meetings is invaluable. You will be here to understand the needs of these guys, and that's how we can help them, by applying technology, you know.
Yeah.
So technological solutions to empower them, yeah, and by understanding what is time consuming for them and what technological solution we can apply. So you will be our guy, our lady, to collect all these needs and to transform them, you know, to do your magic with some help and time, to do your magic for these guys to gain time. That's brilliant.
In fact, now that I have you here, maybe that Mila, what would be nice for me is to be with one of them, like a day, to see what they do, because maybe if they think about, they don't know what they can be automatically done.
It's
but
true.
I can automatically see what they are doing, that can be done very much faster. Right.
Okay, fine. All right. Thank you, Nuria. That's great. Guys, I know that you have questions. I know that Jordan, Mari Carmen, and Azra have something to say as well. But let me move quickly to this here, yeah, because I believe that, well, you guys mentioned a lot of the keywords, yeah, which is again collaboration. So pretty much all the problems that you have come from 2 or 3 factors. The fact that you are alone in the majority of the time, and alone you have very limited resources, no matter how great. And the second is that the market is putting a lot of pressure, giving leverage to the student. You know, all these big ones are kind of shaping the message, and the message is to lower the prices. This is it. So the solution, and believe me, when we get to see all the possibilities that we are creating together, we'll see how that has a direct impact in quality as well. Yeah. So 2 models here, and one is with limited hours. The one on the left, the one on the right, represents fairly the idea here. And the idea is that I am helping myself and I'm helping the other teacher. So 2 people are clearly benefiting, no intermediation. 2 people are clearly benefiting when we collaborate. The person that puts the student, the person that puts the time for the class, right? So one of them teaches, the other one has the students, both benefit, yeah? There is no in between, no intermediation, no nothing, yeah? And how is that possible with the grid, shared grid? This is again technology, what Nuria was talking about. So the grid allows to put students whenever they want to go, and then it also allows you to decide what hours you are teaching. So that increases your, that breaks the ceiling, that increases your benefits. We have gone about it, we have explained about it, yeah? So the roadmap, I really wanted you to see that, because this is something that we're now pitching with investors, and this is something, well, this is something really amazing. And I thought our guys have to see that. Our guys have to be aware of where we are heading, what we are doing, yeah, and what has been done, what will be done. So the idea is born in 2017 when we saw clearly in the first indications of a very hard market, very hard on the teachers. So the solutions of the marketplaces were, okay, I'm going to please the student by lowering the price and staying in page 1 of Google. This is it. So teachers, yeah, you go, you compete against each other. And as James said, you cannot compete with a big academy. Now, marketplaces do give you one chance though, which is to be on their page 1. So we are going to take advantage of that. We're going to use it in our benefit, but we're not going to follow their business model, because their business model leads to 900 euros per hour. This is it. No matter how much you work, you can increase a little bit, but then you have cancellations, then you have churn rate, loss of students, and you know, this 900 euros a month is an average, and little can you do about increasing that, right? So when I was thinking, I was saying think outside of the box. It's really okay. So we need alliances, because the big ones also play with one premise, which is the small teachers, the small players are divided as well. So whenever we have, yeah, and this gives them power as well. You know, it's a basic military rule. I mean, no matter how strong I am, if the opponent is weaker, I am a step forward. So clearly, the fragmentation of freelancers is not of help for them. So what we said is, all right, what we're doing is we're creating here the #1 teachers community, teacher-centered. So for that purpose, we're going to partner with you guys. We are partners. And we're taking a wiki-based approach to what we do. So here is where we can have a lot of impact on the content. Look at what we've created over the past years, 5,000 activities, shared activities, editable activities. I mean, going back to the content issue, that directly fixes that problem directly and reduces your work amount of work, you know, unpaid work. So this element alone, and it also impacts on quality because it's editable. So every single reader that has a canceled class can edit an activity, be paid for the class, and deliver a greater standard. Okay, so acceleration for students, also technology here to personalize training, to identify needs. The grid is super important. Let me insist on that element. The grid allows us to join people with similar needs in groups of 3. So what Kaylee was saying, I remember her words, remember Kaylee's words. I have to teach a student and I have no knowledge about what level they have, what I have to prepare, etc., etc. So again, the key and the solution is technology. Yeah, if we have it, then we don't have to worry. We know that whatever we are teaching is suitable. And then James's problem, Salesforce, the Salesforce that the big companies have, you should have as well. So that's how you come to compete with the big academies. Right now, you have to know that you are a step further. We talk a lot, maybe I've explained that we help academies as well. Yeah, because they don't have these tools. They don't have none of the tools that every single one of you has. So for instance, they don't have a Salesforce system. They go with an Excel sheet, and there is no way we can do a proper follow-up, and we can do anything with this Excel sheet, you know. So the Salesforce alone is a big of big value. It's really an eye opener here, not to mention the marketing tools, well, the URL, the personalized URL, and so on. And well, right now we have a business model that is validated in 4 continents. Yeah, Oceania is still to come. We'll get there through you. So we're growing, and this community is expanding organically. Fantastic. So we're going to get there. And this is where we're heading. Number 1, teachers community. So we don't want to be the biggest marketplace. No way. What we want is to create the biggest teachers community. This is what has to stick with you guys. And since we're talking and are going to talk about quality, I have to tell you this, these numbers are very revealing. Yeah, these numbers are the ones that are going to give you a very clear idea of where we stand towards quality. Now, this graph here is student lifetime average. And from January 2020 to now to December 2021, what you can see is that the lifetime has been growing and the curve is still increasing, which means that the process is not completed. The process will continue growing. So we haven't reached the limit, the quality limit yet. And right now, the lifetime and as an average is in 18 months, which is amazing. It's amazing. So only quality can give you that. Yes, we have we have in mind, or we have incorporated companies. Companies have a longer lifetime usually, but the average is in 18 months. This is amazing for one, and the reason behind is quality. So when we talk about increasing your rates, your payment through quality, I agree, but you have to understand the process behind that, because more money is a consequence of a direct transaction, but it's also a consequence of retention. We keep the client longer because they're happier. Yeah, so we have quality, the quality that allows them to stay, that doesn't force them to leave. And the conversion rate is directly related to it as well, which right now is in 27%. Now, if we take a 2-year gap from January 2020 to December 2021, we will see that we have this funnel. 4 prospects are giving us 2 trials and one student. Okay, so this funnel, why is it is so important? And again, here is quality. And let me explain. I really want to explain you this because it's absolutely amazing. This rate is non-existent in online portals, in e-commerce. It's non-existent. It's 10 times less. It's 2.7. So the conversion rate that we have, it's because of you. It's because the business model that we have. It's because there is a direct contact and a direct impact on you guys with students. Now, ever since Georgina started interacting with her prospects, her conversion stepped from 4% to 20 or whatever it is now. I haven't checked recently, you know? So this is the direct impact of what we do on numbers. Yeah. And after I've shown you this, and we can talk about it and analyze further, I remember Jordan raised his hand. So Jordan, over to you. Okay, and we're going to continue with the solutions that you guys provided, because this is where I left it. I kind of cut you to explain the rest. So back to the solutions, Jordan, and then okay. Ashra.
So I was just looking at the quality of the teaching, how you say it'll improve, and when I look at it, it's more for actually teaching the language more than anything else in the world, you know? It's about learning the language and teaching it.
Yeah.
And like you say, you've got to spend 3 months on one grammar issue in a classroom because you're teaching 30 kids and you're really just babysitting. You're not really teaching.
Yeah.
And then the other way around is where you do the one-on-ones and you've got all these problems that we've got on the left, you know? So this is a good, you know, a good in-between kind of method where it's 3 people and the flexibility is it's uncapped, as you say. It's best for both people, you know. They get to pick when they want to learn and when they want to teach, and I think that allows you to give your best work. You know, it's not at times where you don't want to, or you know you're not going to be the best. So I think that's good.
Okay, great. Who else? Thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely. Azra, you wanted to say something as well.
Yeah, so I thought that maybe more communication with the consumer is important regarding the value of what service we're providing or what we're teaching. One of the ways that we can communicate the value is by indicating or providing information about the outcomes of what people actually gain, you know, from learning language or any other subject for that matter.
I love it. I love it because sometimes they come to you with thinking that they know what they need, but they haven't heard your value proposition yet. And I love it because you nailed it. There are 2 elements in what you say that are super important. First of all, customers come to you with the necessity of learning English, but maybe they don't know, they formulate their need based on prior experience. So you are the one to open their eyes to what is there. Yeah. So as Jordan said, you know, there is this formula of a shared class of 3 that try it. You can try it. The second, because it's optimizes your time and accelerates much better. And we're going to talk about the format of the class. Yeah, how why we have 30 minutes and not 60 or 45 or whatever. But this is very important. And then communication, you know, communication and also when we share, actually, not only the teaching aspect, the teaching learning aspect improves when we share groups of 3, but also from the financial side, it's very important to understand that in this case, we can lower the price for the student and increase the rate for you, you know, because again, we can't talk about quality without solving your problem first. And problem number 1, low rate. Yeah. So only when we solve the teacher's problem of a good rate, we can talk about quality. As simple as this. Okay, so this is it. So Ashra, just let me conclude and over to you, Nalisa. When you talk about communicating with the client, it's true that when this communication happens, then let's say that it's much, you know, it's much faster and straightforward, the conversion to client. Again, Georgina's example, she had a lot of leads and trials, but then they wouldn't convert. And we were wondering why. It was when she started telling them, like communicating with them, telling them, hey, try this, and giving herself the chance to explain, when the conversion started working and operating. Okay, so Nalisa, over to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I agree with Azura 100% because that's the biggest challenge that I've been having. Communication with the student and getting them to commit or try to convince them that, you know, the value of what they're getting for what they're paying is like pulling teeth. So, you know, you send like link after link or you communicate them by email or WhatsApp, you know, try to get them to understand, you know, because they look at the price and they're like, oh my gosh, this is too expensive. You know, I can go somewhere else where it's actually way cheaper. And they don't quite understand unless we actually communicate with them as why, you know, the value of what they're getting and why it's exactly that much. And that's, I'll have to say, for me, that has been the biggest struggle, because I'm putting a lot of time, a lot of energy, and trying to really convince students just to communicate. Like, I really actually want to communicate, you know, with the students, try to convince them, you know, why the price is like this, what are they getting out of it? Because they just look at the price and they think this is too expensive. I can go somewhere else where the rates are way cheaper. And you know, when you go to a school or you enroll a child into school, the school fees is what it is. They don't negotiate. They don't get to negotiate. It is what it is. And that's what's so frustrating as well.
I understand you, Elizabeth. Yeah, but you have to explain the price. You have to be able to explain the price. And if you take the right approach to the price, they can say whatever, but it's expensive, because it's not. Now, again, here is where I think that some of you get lost. Yeah, totally lost, because, and I know that eventually the student makes calculations and they say, half an hour with you, that means that the rate per hour for me is whatever. No, because let's now give them the vision. First, the reality of what other people do and what we do. Yeah, and what other people do is 1 hour class, end of it. 1 hour class, €5. And in this 1 hour class, what is it in it? What is it in it? Let's analyze. We've been doing it. We've been analyzing, but what is it? Small talk. Is it or isn't it? We all start with small talk. And I'm sorry, guys, but you disguise it as rapport. Come on. A business person doesn't want to mingle with the teachers. They want direct, you know, effectiveness. A business person wants every single minute to be just, they don't want rapport. Come on. Rapport is great. Rapport is great, and it can be achieved with good preparation and with quality classes. Small talk, forget about it. Georgina, what do you want to say?
What do I want to say? It's just, this reminded me of a person who I talked to, and she said, oh, but no, that if I don't have rapport with a student, I can't teach them. And I thought, yeah, but like, who's the teacher? Who needs you? They need you more than you need them. And as you were saying, I do no small talk, and it took me a while to make that jump, as you helped me. But now I smile, we laugh, we crack jokes, and that rapport is created somewhere else maybe than just talking about your personal life, because the guys, they come here, they want to learn. And just, I remember this other class, and this woman said, Georgina, I'm just exhausted. I'm like, but I learned so much. And that's why they're coming here. So they're not your friends, they're your students. And
even with your friends, Georgina, if they're in English class, then we have to make every single minute valuable, because anything else, let's leave it for later in the bar or whatever. But small talk is no learning. We've been talking about that, but let me repeat it once again. We have new teachers, so it's worth that, and very necessary for them, you know, because we start with the small talk because we need to loosen up and to, you know, to relax. But instead, what we're doing is wasting someone else's time and giving no value. So small talk has to be substituted by something that impacts directly on the class. For us, these are the quick questions. Quick questions is the best starting activity that you can, not WH, quick questions with auxiliaries. Will I, will you, shall I, could, should, am, is, have, all these questions. Yeah, these are the ones that you should start with.
And now, just another thing, because when you take all those cool courses to become teachers, CELTA, Delta, FELTA, all that stuff, and they're essential, they're necessary, I think. But you know what we're doing here at Oxenity is kind of very, very different from what we do there. Their method is like, no, make the student feel comfortable, and they're comfortable, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't happen in real life. You know, when I talk to possible students, I'm like, that's not going to happen to you when you're out there traveling to the States or wherever. Nobody's going to make you feel comfortable. This is it. And this is sort of, instant. You have to just
yeah, but again,
manage it at the moment, and that's like true. It's
the
for
60
real.
minutes, Georgie. In their 60 minutes, there is everything that everything that we don't need is in their 60 minutes. So in their 60 minutes is socializing with students. In their 60 minutes, there are gaps or silences in the class so that students feel gaps. In their 60 minutes, there are readings. Now, let me pause here because I want to tell you firmly, and I hope you listen and remember and trust me on this one. Do not make students read. I'm very, very, very positive on that. Forget about the 4 skills. Really, guys, I am a linguist, 5 years with a master's degree in linguistics, 2 more years of doctorate course, which I didn't complete with a thesis, but eventually it's 7 years in linguistics. So what I will tell you is shocking. Forget about the 4 skills because they are a lie. They don't exist. The 4 skills is eventually one, which is communicating. And this skill of communicating starts and ends with speaking, and everything else can be achieved only when speaking is achieved. The rest is a consequence. It's not to be worked at the same time. Do not make your students, your 6-year-old students read. The teacher that does that is really literally killing the student. You guys are killing it, or your 75-year-old students, or your 51-year-old students after work, they don't want to read. Or your A1 level students, they don't want to read, they don't have to read yet. So they first have to learn to speak. It's very important, and this is quality. And then they are going to be able to read. Trust me on this. So it's not that I'm against writing. It's not that I'm against reading. I just think that these skills they fit in a different context. With you, this quality, these 30 minutes of quality have to be on, give them what they don't have. Give them the speaking skill, the communication skill. The rest is a consequence. They can work it out on their own. Yeah, all of them. So if we concentrate what really requires you in this 30 minutes, the price analysis is more than justified because you're giving them the rest in the app. And that costs 8.33 euros per hour for them. This is it. You're not getting 8 euros per hour. They are paying 8.33 euros per hour. This is what they're getting. Only that the concentration of teacher-student time is 30 minutes. And then the further practice, the one that they pay for traditionally, but they don't use because they feel a gap-fill activity, For this, we don't charge. This we offer in an app, okay? So I really hope you guys understand, and especially Nelissa understands it, that the rate for which the students pay include 30 minutes of teacher time and 30 minutes of app time. This is it. And that's why it's 8.33. And this is not high. It's not high. It's one of the lowest prices right now. Only that you are not paid that because of the shared model. Yeah, Oxinity is not a marketplace. We don't pay 30% from what we collect from the student to you. No, it's not that. Yeah. So your rate is different. Your rate comes from the teaching hour plus 8.33 times the number of students you have in any of the classes. Okay. So, Patty, over to you.
Hi guys. Yeah, sorry, just a couple of points from before. Sorry. With regards to the rapport and building rapport, all this kind of thing. Yeah, when I started, when I began, rather than ask just quick questions, I actually did have small talk and have conversation with a student at the beginning. I was reluctant to let go of that when I was told to, and but yeah, it's not made a difference really. Well, not made a difference in a negative way is what I mean.
Mhm.
You can build a rapport just by having the right tone of voice. When
Yeah.
you do end up having conversations, but you have conversations about the actual material itself,
Mhm.
which is what you're supposed to do. It's what you're supposed to be teaching. Then they become perfectly comfortable with you because they get used to you having
Absolutely.
conversations about the material. So that
Absolutely.
you really, there's no point in the small talk whatsoever. So yeah, definitely. I've noticed that having started out with the small talk and taking up some minutes with it, which takes away from the activities.
Mhm.
Now I don't do that, and I can say that it's definitely better because you get through more of the work, still build up some kind of rapport. Students are still comfortable with you, and you can still teach the lessons. So
And moreover, Paddy, they know that you're a great teacher because they highly value the fact that you're giving more value for the time that they're with you. So instead of you spending their time, you're kind of investing every single minute in a meaningful practice. So yeah,
absolutely, absolutely,
Mari,
exactly.
that's quality, right? This is quality. So Mari Carmen, over to you.
Hi, I want to say the same thing, but in a different way.
Mhm.
If we're not doing the yes, no questions at the beginning, if we're not doing 3 activities, structure, topic, and vocabulary in half an hour, and obviously double in 1 hour, and we don't do a wrap up, and I don't mind what the reason is, time, students trying to speak too much, whatever happens, there are many variables there, and that's what teachers have to adjust, these variables. So if we finish a class and we sit and think and we haven't done those 3 steps, the quick questions, the 3 activities, and the wrap up, it means that we have to change something because we're not using the system properly. And the consequences of not using the system properly will reflect on our figures directly. So it's incredibly related. So this is not about being nice or not about getting friends or not. I don't care about that. What I care about is proving to myself that my figures, again, are directly proportional to how much I take care of the quality side, which is what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you. Absolutely. And talking about numbers, when students get bored, lifetime is shorter. We decrease their lifetime. We kill it. They just stay until they reach whatever they want to. I don't know, whatever objective they think they have, and that they go. Yeah, you keep the student when they are absolutely engaged, where they see that every single minute is very well planned and there is an objective behind that. So you wanna have a short lifetime of a student, you go for small talk. You wanna have a long lifetime, you'd rather think carefully of the activities, the pace, the rhythm of the class, and start with quick questions. Really, guys, yeah, this is a direct impact. The numbers don't lie. We have the facts. So, Josie, I think you had raised your hand previously.
Yeah, I was just going to add something. It's basically in the same area, and it's that for me, like the most important information that I can get is what does the student want to get out of their lesson. So Do they want to focus on business? Do they want to focus on general conversation? And yeah, I ask them, and that also affects like the level of corrections that I give them. If they're comfortable with lots of corrections, if they prefer to just have a flowing conversation and just correct like major things, that's the most important thing to me. Like the small talk is not really necessary. Caring about what their needs are, for me, is the thing that's helped me build a good rapport with students.
I understand what you say and I agree, but be careful with asking what they want, because they will tell you what they have experienced on what they have experienced. Yeah. So
Okay.
we got, yeah. The expected answer when we you know, guys, when you ask a question, you have to know why you're asking it. And unless you know the answer, you don't ask it. So we don't ask a question so that we're told, look, you know, what I want is something that we can't, impossible. It's impossible to deliver, and you know that it's against any logic of teaching. So when you ask a question, you have to think, what is the expected answer? The expected answer is something that they know. But knowing what you have, I think you have to turn it. You have to probably say by telling them what you think they need, you know. So I guess you will tell me that you need this and this. So by telling them what you have, they're going to literally want to have it no matter what, because everyone wants to improve their conversation. Everyone. That doesn't mean you have to give them conversation unprepared. No, they want to be able to talk. They want to be able to get themselves understood in the business world. All of them. If they work, that's what they want. If they're kids, they want to thrive academically. That doesn't want that they need to pass an exam. They want to thrive academically. They want to succeed. Parents want overachievers. That's what they want. You don't need to ask the mom, what do you want for your kid? She will tell you, I want him to be excellent in every single thing, from physical education to quantum physics. This is what I want for my kid, because I've gave birth to the most incredible child in the world. Yeah, this is how we work, moms. So you ask what you have, and you tell them what you have. This is it. And with what you have, kids become overachievers, literally. And business people thrive and are able to close any negotiation. And people that want to travel have their conversation fluent, etc., etc. Be careful with what you ask. Okay, Blanca.
Yeah, I'll be quick because I have to go to class, but I just wanted to say if they don't know what they want and they don't know what they need, because they would already speak English if they knew. They're here because they need an expert, and that's us. And so we need to explain that to them and follow the process because it works. That's all.
Simple, clear and simple.
I gotta go to class now, but thank you guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you as well. Georgina, was that from before, or you want to say something?
No, it'd be like a bit for Blanca was saying, but a bit more radical. When we used to say, oh, I adapt to my students' needs. And that we spoke about this about a year ago. I say, no, I don't adapt to your needs. You adapt to the learning needs that you have. And you're going to adapt to the model and to the system for you to learn. And in terms of asking the student what they want, is what Blanca was saying. No, it's like, I don't go to a doctor telling him how I want him to operate on me, right? So this is a similar case. So what I would suggest, or I do, is I test different ways of correcting, and then I check which one the students responds to. Because as Blanca was saying, we are the experts. I know the techniques and I have to try them. And maybe it's not what the student wants, but it's the one that works, and he doesn't really realize it, so he progresses. So, you know, we are the experts, and we are the ones who know what has to be done. Of course, we can eventually talk with them a little bit if we're not really clear of where they need to get, I guess, in terms of exams and stuff. Yeah. But if not, no adapting to the students.
It's better to say, tell me what your pain is, and I'll tell you what you need. It's better. It's much better. It changes a little bit. You're still asking. They feel that you're asking, of course, for their needs, but the question is different. Tell me what you want, or tell me what your pain is. I'll tell you what you need. Yeah, and we're achieving this what Blanca was talking about. We're the experts, so I'll tell you how it's going to happen. And what Georgina was talking about, I'm the surgeon here. I'm going to tell you how we're going to fix this. You tell me what your pain is, and I'll tell you what the best approach to reaching it, to achieving it is. Okay. Okay, Nuria, final word because we have to go very quickly. Yes.
Very quickly, I'll try to resume it very fast. To learn in Spain, we have a thing that we call meetup also. That is people reuniting talking English just to practice. So if what paying if you have that just for free?
I've joined one.
You joined one, right? It's a great way, by the way,
Not
to
yet,
find
but I'm
students.
joining next week.
Right. So it's a good way to find students. Why? Because if they don't want a structure, just go to the meetups. If you want someone who really can correct you and knows and have the knowledge to make you perfect your English, then you pay for it. So there has to be a structure, right? So
Absolutely.
I think if someone is telling you doesn't want a structure, is in the wrong place. Maybe I tried to be fast.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank
Mari
you.
Carmen, a final word?
Yes, very, I'll be very quick, just because that list of problems is annoying me. So I would like to just say two things, but from the practical point of view to get rid of them all. Only two things. One, if I want to work 4 hours teaching, I'm going to make money working 4 hours, and at the same time I am working, I am getting the percentage of the leads I brought in, and that is infinite. And two, if I believe, trust, and use the system that's been carefully thought of, my classes will be impeccable, therefore my figures will continue increasing. That's all.
Okay, I think it's a brilliant summary. Really, I think we should leave it here because it's perfect. Thank you very much, really, very much, all of you guys. I hope to see you next week as well. And you have a great weekend. A pleasure as always. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you so much. It was great. Bye.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Bye bye.